Hi everyone. I decided to come outside and do our video today because all my babies are outside. I let Simon out and I did put Candy, she's in the house, because he doesn't want to leave her alone now, and we're just having to be a little more serious about keeping them separated. So she's in the house and he's out, but she was out and he was in. And so we'll just do that for the next few days. She'll be breeding next Friday. Hopefully Friday and probably Sunday. And then she'll have a few more days of being in heat before they can actually come outside together. They're getting to stay in the house together when I'm in there, as long as he wears a belly band and she wears her fancy pants. So I never was very big on the belly bands until our last breeding season, where we brought in an outside stud. We brought Thor in. He came and stayed with us for about a month, and he was accustomed to wearing a belly band. So we had to keep one on him, and I decided I do like those. And Simon is wearing them now. He didn't know what to think about it at first, but now he doesn't mind them. They don't really get in his way of being comfortable or anything. So it just adds extra protection, keeping him away from any of the girls when they're in heat, and I don't want him to be breeding. So I'll probably be using belly bands a lot more now. I do still crate during breeding season to help make sure I keep them separated. I don't like for any of them to be breeding unless it's, I put them out here and it's planned. I don't just let them hang out and we'll see what happens. So I'm pretty controlling over the breeding, because I pair them the way I want them to be paired. Delilah! Oh, you got the sneezing. Come here, I'll help you. Yeah, let me hold your nose. Let me rub your throat. Yeah. That backward sneezing, she's always done that, and she does it a little more than the rest of them. They all do it, but she does it a little bit more. And she usually needs help to pull out of it. If you close at least one nostril and kind of rub their throat at the same time, it usually helps. But their noses are always on the ground out here, so I'm sure that's what causes it. But I don't know, sometimes she'll go to doing it even in the middle of the night. So anyway, Jeff has gone to go visit a friend that's he's an elderly gentleman that is in a nursing home now. So he went to go and spend some time with him, visiting him this morning. And I'm just not moving this morning. I can't seem to get motivated to get up and get much of anything done. I did get dressed, but I was comfortable just to sit and do nothing except talk to my dogs and pet and play with them, watch them play, more or less. I would sit around and watch them play and watch them sleep. They've been sleeping a lot this morning too, so that's why they wanted to come out now. They've been laying around in the living room asleep. And I don't really have much planned today. I was watching some sewing videos. Most of y'all know I do a lot of crafts, and I've always made and sold crochet before I started breeding my dogs, and my time became more consumed right here. But I don't have time to go and set up at the craft shows and farmers markets and stuff like that anymore. But I do still have a partnership in a flea market booth with a cousin of mine. So I'm making stuff all the time. It's just a good way for me to pass time. It keeps me busy, and I can do it and take care of my dogs. So I'm always making something. Last night I set up late. Every night this week I've set up late and finished up a bunch of whelping beds. But I've been teaching myself to sew this is the second year, and I'm really enjoying it. So I watch the videos and I learn a lot from that. So just like y'all watch the Boston Terrier videos, I sit around and watch sewing videos. I never could really learn anything from crochet videos because my grandmother taught me to crochet when I was very young. So I needed that one-on-one to do my crochet, and a video just didn't seem to do it. But I learned more from a sewing video than I do reading a pattern. It's a different language, a different style of patterns, crochet patterns. If I have a pattern, I can make anything. But sewing, I need to see somebody show me how to do it. And then I can do it, and I enjoy doing it. So I hope to get some medium-sized quilts, maybe the couch size like my Boston Terrier quilts, made to put in the flea market booth. They're quick and easy and don't take a whole lot of cost to make one. So maybe I can do that while I'm waiting on babies and have this extra time since Reba didn't get pregnant. I thought we'd be having babies this next week, and it turned out she's not pregnant at all. So we are waiting, and we will be breeding Candy next week. And then we'll wait another 28 days after breeding, I can do an ultrasound. Now, I'm beginning to question whether or not I can read the ultrasounds correctly, because I really thought I saw babies with Reba. But I will try, and if not, we'll go in and get an x-ray. You can do an ultrasound 28 days after breeding, and you can do a x-ray, I think it's 50 days pregnant or later. So, which they're born at like 62 days. So you have to wait right to the very end to get an x-ray. And I don't really like to do x-rays. I've done 2 now, but it's because I had doubts about the pregnancy. So if I have any doubts, I will go in and get an x-ray, make sure we're pregnant, and make sure how many babies we might have. Sheba, 2 seasons ago, I knew she was pregnant, and she showed very well pregnant, and but I had trouble seeing them on the ultrasound. But I could tell without doubt she was pregnant. And then there's a loud plane going by. Sorry about that. If it's not a plane, then it's a train around here. But anyway, I had questions about her pregnancy because something just seemed like it went wrong towards the end. So I took her in and got an x-ray, and she only had 2 puppies. So, and that was what went wrong. She probably had 4 or 5 puppies, but they were self-absorbing, all but 2. So, and one of them was born with a cleft nostril, which I've learned since then. Some reason, they don't know why, sometimes the mamas will self-absorb the babies. They just absorb back into the mom, and that we don't know why that happens, but it can affect the baby that's right next to it, and I think that's why he was born with a cleft nostril. There were a couple of babies next to him that dissolved, and so anyway, there's always a time, when I would get an x-ray, but it's not my preference. I prefer to have normal pregnancies and see with my eyes that everything is on track. But it doesn't always work that way in the animal kingdom. Sometimes we just have to deal with stuff that we can't understand, and sometimes we lose babies and we don't know why. But I do everything that I possibly can do to ensure healthy pregnancies. All of them get good quality prenatal care and pregnancy care, and I keep them on a good quality dog food. We use Diamond Naturals puppy food and Diamond Naturals adult food. All my little ones stay on the puppy food for the first year. Somewhere just after 6 months, I'll start mixing it. And my adults usually get puppy food and adult food mixed, mainly because I almost always have either nursing mamas or pregnant mamas. So we mix the adult and the puppy food for them. And the Diamond Naturals has always been good for us. We've been on it for the whole 6 years I've been breeding. And all my puppies, my little puppies, when we're weaning, that's what they get. And I've tried a couple others like Bill Jack's or one brand just called Diamond. I would recommend you stay away from it completely. Not for Boston Terriers. It's just not a good dog food. But Diamond Naturals is pretty good for the Boston Terriers. A lot of breeders I know use it. And but you do have to be careful not let them overeat, because it will make them really thirsty, and then they're over drinking, and then you have a wide variety of issues like burping and spitting up and acid reflux, and not to mention the pottying. So they need to be fed according to the instructions on the bag and what you're seeing. I always tell people, especially in the young ones, Boston Terrier stomachs do have to have time to grow and mature, just like, what are you guys doing? Just like the rest of their bodies. And if they're starting to spit up a lot as a baby, I'm talking about after you take one at 8 weeks old, if you see them spitting up a lot, you might want to cut back on the dog food and feed them less, but feed them more often, so they're still getting the recommended amount a day, just not all at once or something, because it does take time for their little stomachs to grow and not be irritated if they get a little too much food on them. You silly guys. This is what they do all day long. They just play and then sleep, and then play and then sleep. They know when it's time to eat, so they kind of gather around and wait when they know that we're getting close to feeding time. And then they know when it's bedtime too, so they do kind of the same thing. They just kind of gather around and wait, mainly because they know they're going to get a treat at bedtime for going into their crates. Caleb had his little hernia repair, and he doesn't have a clue that they did any kind of a little procedure on him. It hadn't slowed him down a bit. And he is starting to get long. His legs are still not growing much, but his body is starting to get a little bit longer now. He was very short and squatty. So he's still short, but he's starting to get a little longer. Oh, y'all quit picking on him. Crazy critters. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave them out here, and I'm going to go in and try to get Candy in this, and let them all stay outside. It's really nice weather out here today. No, Reba, you're not. Okay, Reba and Delilah and Sheba. will probably go in with me. But the rest of them, I'm going to try to get them to stay outside. All right, girls. You're spoiled girls, aren't you? Delilah? All right, there they are. There they are. Where's my candy? Where's my candy girl? What you doing, honey? Are you sitting in my chair? Yes, you are. You better get out of it. We got to put some fancy pants on. So anyway, I'm going to try to get a little bit of housework done if I can get myself motivated here. And I guess I'll be back tomorrow for sure. Maybe later today if they get to doing something a little more interesting than just laying around and doing what they always do. But anyway, y'all have a blessed Saturday.